The girl's entire family was allergic to bees, but she and her mother ended up trapped in a car with 22 million killer bees. They were caught in a traffic accident and blocked by a truck full of bees. Beehives shattered on the ground, and the frightened bees swarmed wildly in the air. The truck driver ran over to ask for help, but scared the already terrified mother and daughter who screamed. Moments later, the unfortunate driver was stung unconscious. Seeing the bees increasing in number, the mother urgently called 911. Fortunately, they had dispatcher Maddie to calm them down. The mother took out one EpiPen. However, unexpectedly, the bees started entering the car through the vent. Just as the mother was about to close it, she saw 3 bees already flying toward her daughter. Maddie instructed them to stay still, but one bee landed on the girl's face crawling around. The mother was just scared to breathe. The bee moved towards the girl's eye.
Go away, stupid bee! Breathe up! No!
And the girl, unable to resist, slapped herself, leaving the bee's stinger in her face. As the venom spread, the girl's allergic reaction made it hard for her to breathe. In panic, the mother stabbed the EpiPen into her daughter's thigh. Fortunately, the injection was timely, and the girl immediately felt much better. The mother breathed a slight sigh of relief, but as she looked up, she was stung in the neck by a bee.
Mom?
However, they only had 1 dose of Ept. Within seconds, the mother started having trouble breathing. In this life-threatening moment, the only option was to rely on the remaining medication in the EpiPen. Following Maddie's instructions, the girl found a pair of scissors in her bag. The mother cut the EpiPen in half and used the last of her strength to extract the needle before passing out. In the nick of time, the girl frantically injected the needle into her mother and pressed the plunger hard. Soon the mother caught her breath again, but the danger wasn't over yet. Now their survival was in the hands of the firefighters. When they arrived, the truck driver had no pulse. The mother and daughter's car was covered in bees. People who didn't escape in time were severely stung, swelling up badly. The rescue had just begun when the CO2 canister malfunctioned. It turned out that bees were blocking the pipe, preventing the pump from starting. At that very moment, the fuel tank of the truck caught fire. Seeing more and more frightened bees, the firefighters rushed to extinguish the fire. Buck, inspired by the smoke, grabbed a blower and blew it towards the car swarming with bees. As the smoke filled the air, the bees began to fly away. When the car door opened, the mother and daughter hugged each other, having survived the ordeal. Unfortunately, the swollen man wasn't as lucky. Paramedics found his airway blocked, and when they opened his mouth, a bee flew out. Looking closer, they saw more bees clinging to his tongue. They used a suction machine to remove all the bees from his airway. And finally, the man woke up, just when they thought the rescue was over. There was a loud noise, and the bees once again went out of control. The sky was filled with bees, forming a bee-nado moving eastward toward the city. As night fell, the uncontrollable swarm disappeared from radar. It turned out that as the temperature dropped, the bees found a place to rest. They happened to gather at a venue where a new luxury perfume was set to be launched the next day. The tragedy struck the moment the perfume was sprayed.
Oh my god!
The bees, attracted by the scent, swarmed in from the tent, and chaos erupted at the event. People ran in all directions, getting stung. The unluckiest was the assistant, who had been sprayed with the perfume, becoming the main target of the bees. She ran wildly, diving into a swimming pool to escape. But just as she surfaced, she was stung again. A woman quickly called 911, and the assistant clung to a hose waiting for the firefighters to arrive. Buck figured out that the bees were attracted to floral scents. He nominated Eddie to get sprayed with the scent as he was the fastest runner. Eddie ran with the bees chasing closely behind. While they got to the assistant and gave her treatment, looked like she had been stung 1,000 times. To quickly remove the venomous stingers from the girl's body, Hen pulled out duct tape, flattened it onto her arm, and ripped it off, taking all the stingers with it. At the same time, her airway was cleared and her pulse stabilized. Meanwhile, Eddie, now covered in bees, had become a walking beehive inside the tent. Finally, a bee expert vacuumed the bees off Eddie, and no one else was harmed. However, the swarm of bees took to the skies again. At that moment, a small plane was in flight, and the pilot noticed a strange dark cloud ahead in his path. As the plane flew into the swarm, he realized it was insects, but it was too late. The bees had entered the cockpit through the vent, and the pilot was stung. In an instant, the plane lost control in the air. Meanwhile, Sergeant Grant, escorting a murder suspect through security, urgently boarded a commercial flight. He was about to speak with the captain to ensure LAPD was at the gate for them, but at that moment, the plane seemed to encounter a severe malfunction.